All right, call the meeting to order. Reading the district's promise statement. We promise to provide a supportive environment where unique learning experiences empower all for their chosen life adventure. Are there any additional items for the agenda? If not, do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion to pass the agenda as presented.
That's Tim Melke. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
That's Joni Olson. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say nay. Motion carries 5-0. Recognition of visitors in open forum. Nobody is signed up. We'll move on to reports and presentations. Superintendent report.
Just a few updates on some things we have going on. I got a call from Clinton Rogers from the city on Friday about the Safe Routes to School project. He said that project now needs to be approved by the county also. However, it's already went out to bid. So the county will be doing bid openings on September 25th. And then the city council should approve the winning bids that evening. So next Monday evening, they should approve the winning bids. I asked when they would be starting this project. He said they'll be starting the work this fall, but he does not have a schedule as to where they'll be starting the project. So he didn't know if it was gonna be on some of the sidewalks or if it was gonna be on the school's property that we've given easement for. So during that, or at the end of that conversation, I did ask him to keep me updated on that. And then I wanted to double check with him on the sidewalk going to the lower parking lot. He did say he's done more research on that, and that is the schools, not the cities. It's too far off the road to be considered part of the boulevard. So the plan is when we put the steps in from the lower parking lot to the upper parking lot, we'll have that company fix that sidewalk right there also. As far as hiring staff, everybody that we've hired has started, with the exception of the behavior interventionist who is starting the beginning of October. She's relocating from Colorado to this area. So looking forward to her starting. However, what I would say is the staff that we have on board right now has been awesome. They've jumped in with both feet, done everything we've asked of them. So I couldn't be more pleased with the staff that we've hired for this fall. We've started the negotiation process with the teachers. We're just about done with language. We'll be talking about dollars and everything at our next negotiation meeting, which is scheduled for next Monday evening. However, we do need to think about getting started with the non-certified soon. So I'll send out dates and times to find out what works for our non-certified negotiation committee. Then we can get those scheduled, get started on those. Tonight, we were going to try and have a curriculum instruction meeting following the school board meeting. However, Casey was unable to meet tonight due to some family things. So we're gonna move that to follow the study session at our October 2nd meeting. And I'll get that on the calendar. Two more things. I'm starting to hear some rumblings about food service issues. So far this year, we've had 2 days with milk shortage, 1 day with foam trays due to lack of staff. There's a rather large thread on email or on Facebook of some complaints about food service here. I did reach out to Brett Bauer from Taher. He's the one that oversees our school. He'll be here tomorrow to help figure things out. I hope to be able to give you a better report about food service in the future. So, and the final thing I have is this is homecoming week, and our student council has a number of fun activities for the students this week. Tonight is the crowning of Queen and King, and there are a number of dress-up days this week, along with the volleyball game Tuesday night, football game Friday night, and the cross-country teams doing their traditional ball run from Waterville High School to here. So, any questions for me?
All right, move on to 6B then. Enrollment update and historical cash balances. Any questions on those or comments?
So I see we're down 9 students from what we estimated. Was that expected, or was that just we overcounted in August and?
Well, these were our counts in August, because I looked at this today also, and it's like, this doesn't seem quite right. So I did ask Joyce to double check it, and she said, no, we lost a number of students that last week prior to school starting.
Okay.
So we are down 9 from where we had originally thought. However, we have had a couple additions to, that started today, I think, or they were in today to meet with the high school principal.
Okay.
Any specific reason why 9 decided
It
not?
varies from relocating, but nothing pointing directly at the school or issues with the school.
Any other questions on enrollment? Any questions on historical cash balance? All right, 6C, committee reports. The Finance and Operations Committee had met, and we went over we had some presenters here from the Garland Company to talk about the roof. Talked about the baseball field, top dressing and what's that thing called?
The corner for the turtle.
Yeah, the turtle, that's what it was. That they have. Let's see, talked about the steps on the parking lot, whether we were gonna do steps to the street or in the middle of the parking lot. Just determined that it's probably best in the middle because there's a light there and it's easier because of the grade. Let's see, what else? Construction's pretty much done. Talked about a solar panel grant, putting solar panels on the roof to generate our own electricity. I think that was it for the building. Oh, no, there was something
There's a
in
drain.
the drain in the kitchen.
Clock
that-
that's bringing up
Oh.
Yeah.
under the elevator. wasn't
Yeah,
it?
it's under the
Yeah.
elevator. They got a quote for that. So, working on fixing that.
They figure out where the water's coming from.
No, they have, the elevator company has to come in and open up the area so we can see where the water's coming from.
Okay.
I'm not a certified mechanic.
Yeah.
Yeah, they have to come in and run the car up so you can access the pit.
Yep.
So I think, was that everything on the buildings and grounds?
Yeah.
I know that was quick. but-
Well, and then like Jeremy mentioned, the sidewalk over there is gonna have to be us,
Mhm.
which I kinda figured, but
Yeah, there's a big
it
crack
needs to
in
be
it.
fixed,
Mhm.
so.
Right.
Other than that, the solar panel thing was just one he's looking into, and it just has to be feasible for us and the city.
And
For
that would
that.
generate enough electricity for us. So it wouldn't be a burden on the city to have to buy back.
Yeah, that's the key portion, is you don't wanna have it generate too much, then the city has to buy it back, and then everybody's rates go up because you're not
Right.
purchasing much from Excel, so.
Yeah.
But,
Okay. And then we also had a finance discussion, talked about the preliminary levy certification, how we normally certify the full amount, and I think that was the recommendation again. Negotiations have started. The audit, Wendy's been working on that, and it was a tough go at first, but getting there, I think, right? Because just with everything going on and being new in the position and everything, so. And then the information on the special election, which is in the agenda.
For
We'll talk
tonight.
about that later, so. Did I miss anything on the finance one?
No, the only thing I was just, and I just read about this today that could affect us in the future too, is if they do the salary employees at 55,000, that if you're below 55,000, that now you'll have to pay them overtime. So it's just something the federal government's trying to push through to raise the minimum rate for salary from, I think right now it's like 39,000. And they want to jump it up to 55,000, but that's something that for future stuff, we should just kind of watch.
Sure, sure.
Is that for?
Any salaried employee, but not teachers.
What's considered full-time though, like if it's
Salaried employee is considered 40 hours, it's considered
Yep.
full-time.
40 hours?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. And it was on the MSBA thing, their weekly or daily news bulletin thing, if you ever see that via email, so.
So they would have to work 2,080 hours
Mm.
for this?
Right.
Mhm.
Okay.
No, not necessarily, because with this thing here, it says your kitchen staff could do this, because if they get laid off during the summer, that's not still their work week. They were talking bus drivers, kitchen staff, so that's why I brought it up. It's just not,
You mean as far as overtime?
yeah, like if you don't make, and it's just something for you to look at. It was on that, like I said, it was on the MSBA
Yeah.
site, so.
But those are hourly employees.
For
Right,
us,
those are
some
us, yeah.
places it
Some.
might not be. They just
Yeah.
brought up those examples in the story.
Yeah.
So like if Tahar would be affected, they may raise their rates because
Yep,
to cover.
yep. So, just, like I said, just something to kind of keep in mind with all the other regulations that are being, put on.
Okay. Any questions or anything on the Finance and Operations Committee? Certified Negotiations Committee, any updates on that one?
Met what day was that, Wednesday?
Mhm.
Wednesday with, everybody but Amy Schmitz. Went well, I thought.
Yeah.
Like he said, we had changed some language and then committee's meeting again after this. And then, yeah.
Any questions? All right, we'll move on to 7, approval of the consent agenda. As always, anybody can pull anything out if you wish. Are there any clarifying questions, or does anybody want to pull anything out? All right, if not, do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve.
That's Tim Burke. Do we have a second?
I'll second. Oh, Sherry, go ahead.
Jinx.
Sherry Dashner. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say nay. Motion carries 6-0. Old business, final readings and approval of new policies. In this, we have to go through each one separately, right? I believe. Any questions before we roll through these? All right. Policy 102, do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve.
That's Tim Burke. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
And that's Tim Melky. Any further discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say nay. Motion carries 6-0. Policy 418, do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion.
That's Sherry Dashner. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
That's Tim Elke. Any further discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say nay. Motion carries 6-0. Policy 424. Do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve.
That's Tim Burke. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
That's Sherry Dashner. Any further discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say nay. Motion carries 6-0. Policy 425, do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion.
That's Joni Olson. Do we have a second?
Second.
That's Tim Burke. Any further discussion? I think Jeremy's gonna add the strategic plan to that B1, right?
On 425?
Yeah,
Yes.
okay. All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say nay. Motion carries 6-0. Policy 507, do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve.
That's Tim Burke, do we have a second?
I'll second.
That's Sherry Dashner. Any further discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say nay. Motion carries 6-0. Policy 509, do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve.
That's Tim Elke, do we have a second?
I'll second.
That's Tim Burke. Any further discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say nay. Motion carries 6-0. Policy 515, do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion.
That's Tim Burke. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
That's Joni Olson. Any further discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye. Those opposed say nay. Motion carries 6-0. Did you get all those on? It kind of went fast, sorry about that. Okay. Number 9, new business. First reading and final reading of new policy. Policy 516.5, overdose medication. Did you want to talk to that at all?
Yeah, I do want to talk about this just briefly. Normally, we would have 3 readings for a new policy. However, because this is in state statute, we can do this one in 1 reading. So I would like to do that so we get this one underway. We already have the Narcan here at school, in places where it needs to be. The people that need to know where it is, know where it is. So, but it would be a good idea to get this one in place since it is in state statute.
Quick question. You don't have to mention names, but how many staff know where this is and or are trained to do, I mean, I don't even know if you need training, but
It's pretty simple to use.
is it just a nose mist
It's
thing?
just a nose mist.
Okay.
Claritin.
But there are 4 that are formally trained how to do it on
Okay.
staff.
And I'm just
Actually,
asking a
more than
quick
that,
question.
there's 1, 2, 3, 5.
Okay, so most of the time, not all 3 or 4 or 5 of them are gonna be out of the building at the same time when schools?
When
Okay.
school's in session.
Okay.
We do have some down at the football field because it's any place where their classes may happen. Well, we have Phi Ed classes down there, so we do have some down at the complex also if needed.
Okay, so, I'm not trying to drag this out, I just want, so if it's, like, if we have a softball game or a baseball game, do we have to have something at the field there then? I mean, you don't have per se classes, but you could, is it?
It's just during school hours is what
Okay.
it says.
Okay, I was just wondering, cause
Yep.
I was like, going, well, the football field, do you do stuff down at the baseball, softball, so?
Right.
Okay,
So, and if somebody were to give it that's not trained and it wasn't needed, there are no side effects to it. So it can't hurt you. It just
Okay.
can help you if it is an overdose on an opioid.
okay.
So,
Any other questions? If not, do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve.
That's Tim Burke. Do we have a second?
Oh, go ahead.
That's Joni Olson. Any further discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say nay. Motion carries 6-0. Approval of the notice of special election. Any discussion on that? We've already, I think, reviewed it. We just never approved it. Is that what?
No, we approved the call for the election. This is just giving you a chance to look at the notice that we'll be publishing and posting, just to make sure you're all aware of it and on board with it before Tim signs it.
And this is the only thing that's being in town that's gonna be on the special election.
That's right.
Yep.
And our lawyer's good with the verbiage and all
Yep.
that good stuff, so, okay.
and then, yeah, we have 1 polling place, which will be Trinity, the discipling center. So if it's Waldorf or Pemberton, unless they have an absentee ballot, they'll have to physically come to the discipling center for it.
And there's no way we could put on here that it affects your taxes only by $50 per year.
I don't think we can on the question, but we can,
That's gonna have to be
Our
part of our presentation
presentation.
and stuff of.
Mm-hmm.
That nobody comes to.
The
Yeah.
Q&A.
right,
You never know.
But yeah, legally, you can't put that on the ballot.
we're
All you
sending
can say
out,
is it's gonna increase your property taxes.
but we're sending out postcards, right? for-
Yes.
And then we'll talk about that in the next thing. Okay. All right, any other questions on the notice? Not, do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the special election.
That's Tim Melky, do we have a second?
I'll second.
That's Tim Burke. Any further discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say nay. Motion carries 6-0. All right, discussion and approval of the special election Q&A.
Okay, in light of time, what I would like, and it's a lot prettier than what it looks like on here. It just doesn't transfer well from Canva to Google Docs. But my suggestion would be is to take some time to look at this. And then if you have suggestions or changes you'd like made to it, to get them to either myself, Annika, or Wendy, or Katie, by the end of the week, so we can get this information out.
But isn't this an approval that we're asking for? I thought it said on the agenda.
It does say an approval, so. But we have made a couple changes. I'm just, in light of time, knowing we have coordination in a little bit too.
Yep.
So do you want the approval of something going out, whether, not necessarily be this verbiage, it can be updated? That's what you're looking for then?
Approval of a special election question answer with minimal changes as needed.
I'll make a motion to approve a special election Q&A with minimal changes.
That's Tim Melky, do we have a second?
I'll second.
That's Joni Olson. Any further discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
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 Those opposed say nay. Motion carries 6-0. Approve certifying maximum preliminary levy authority.
This comes along every September, where we have the opportunity to decide if we want to go out for maximum levy, or if we want to certify it, or preliminary say we're gonna go less. Traditionally, we always say that we are gonna go out for maximum in September, but we have until December to make that decision if we're gonna reduce that. In the past 2 years, we've reduced it each year by 200,000. So,
Yep, and we did that to kind of offset the bond sale.
mhm.
Just kind of preliminarily, there's a lot of, this report that's attached right now just came out like half an hour ago. But there's always edits on the state side and on the district side where property valuations and different calculations are kind of in changing and getting updated throughout the next couple weeks. So we don't have our final number, but it's looking like about $2.6 million would be our limit. And if we, yeah, it's a 40-page document that's, I've gone to a couple workshops on it already for 3 hours each, parsing through it all. The assessed values of our properties are going up, and so that's kind of creating ag land has seen significant increases in assessed values, so it's pushing down the rate. So, it's not going to, like, the increased levy amount is not going to be as impactful with the tax rate getting pushed down, especially on the ag property. So I've been in touch with Ellers, and they're working on putting together a tax comparison so we can kind of see some of those numbers once the levy's finished, but, or kind of firmed up. But, on the advice of Ellers and MDE themselves and every other business manager I've talked to, it's recommended that we certify the maximum at this time. And then once that's all firmed up and we have our election and we know what we're doing with that $1.9 million, we can reassess and kind of see if there's an opportunity to under levy or if we want to continue at the maximum.
Any questions? If not, do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the maximum preliminary levy authority.
That's Tim Elke. Do we have a second?
A second.
That's Tim Burke. Any further discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye. Those opposed say nay. Motion carries 6-0. 10, approve resolution accepting donations.
There are no donations this month.
Oh, yep, I didn't even look at that. All right, I guess then, upcoming meetings, right after this is the Certified Negotiations Committee meeting, September 25th, meeting with the JWP, October 2nd, study session, October 16th, regular meeting, and December 4th is truth and taxation.
Should probably put some November meetings on there.
Oh, yeah, we know.
Go from October
I
to
just,
December.
I grabbed the December one for the truth and taxation, just
Because
so we
of-
can.
Yeah,
That's-
yep.
Yeah.
Make sure
that's
we're
an
noticing.
important one, so. All right, meeting is adjourned at 5:56. Thank you, everyone. And
Quick one.